from Nashville, Tennessee. It's theTHREE. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi everybody, I'm Laura Harris-Smith and welcome to theTHREE. If you have been watching for the last month, and if you're a Sound of Music fan, you have had your love tank full of all things Sound of Music. I actually got to go to Vermont to the Trapp Family Lodge. Got to meet Von Trapp, the granddaughter of Georg and Maria Von Trapp. Her name is Christina Von Trapp Frame. She's so lovely. Her entire family is, and they run the Trapp Family Lodge. So it's been a phenomenal month, a dream come true for me, just getting to meet them, be there. But in the process of doing that, I decided to go out on a limb and to contact one of the child actors from The Sound of Music, sort of bridging both worlds, because as I established in those episodes, the Trapp Family Lodge is not any kind of a theme park for The Sound of Music, nor is the Sound of Music film a entirely true documentary about the life of the Von Trapps. Everything, the skeleton, everything mainly is true, but I just was able to kind of get inside some of the trivia in those episodes and really break it down for you and help you learn more about the Von Trapp family. Go back and watch those if you have not at theTHREE.tv. But the episode that we are bringing you today is extra special because one of the child actors that I really wanted to contact did, and she said yes, was Kym Karath. Now, this episode today is devoted entirely to her. In fact, we're going to be bringing you 2 episodes, and you may say, well, why? What is so special about Kym? Listen, you know already, if you have followed her for any time, she was not just an actress in the 60s and in the 70s, on into the 80s, but much more than being a child actor, she is also what I would call a beautiful activist for, a special group of people that I hope if you're listening today, you will really take heart and find hope. And that is for parents with special needs children, because she has a special needs child, Eric. He's 31 years old now. We're going to introduce you to him and show you about her extensive work that she has done. She is a phenomenal person. Now, let me just say, right off the bat, an apology, all right? Kym's name is so unique. I actually love it. She's going to describe for us in detail here how it went from this larger Greek name to the shorter name, Karath, which is what she goes by now. Had nothing to do with show business. It had to do with her father in World War II. The Greek name was Karathanasis. And that name, interestingly enough, is easier for me to pronounce than all the other versions you're going to hear me say of Karath in this episode. My apologies in advance. I actually like the longer Greek name better. But you know Kym as not just an established actress, but if you know anyone with a special needs child, young or old, you need to get them on the phone, text them, email them, whatever it is, however you get in touch with them, and tell them to tune in, because these episodes are going to be such a blessing to them. Without further delay, here is my interview with Kym Karath. Welcome back to theTHREE, Kym. I am actually really excited about this episode. The ones that you did for us on the Von Trapp shows just brought such a personal touch to it, sparked the memories of all of those who were watching and enjoyed you as Gretel in The Sound of Music. But this episode, I really appreciate you letting us do an entire episode on you, because this episode, I'm telling you, is going to reach those parents who have special needs children. And we have been billing this as such. And if you are tuning in right now and you know anyone who has a special needs child, you need to get them on the phone, contact them, and tell them to tune in, because one of the things that Kym has done is help start a foundation. Kym, I want us to start, though, by just going to go over a couple of little pieces of information about you for those who don't know about, maybe they did not see all of the episodes that we shot previously with you. But you are we were talking about your name. You actually have, your surname is not Karath. Tell us what it is. I know it's Greek, and I'm sure I can't pronounce it.
No, it's Karath.
Okay.
That's actually the name.
All right.
And long before I was born, my father had cut our name short.
Okay. Oh, okay.
My family's Greek. The last name was Karathanasis.
There it is. Okay.
Which is extremely difficult. And my father's joke, but it was actually also true, was that when he was a private in World War II, when they got to roll call, the sergeant doing the roll call got to Karathanasis and said, no, private, now it's Karath. And my dad loved it because it sounded so American to him.
Okay.
And so it's been Karath as long as I've been alive.
Oh, okay.
It changed in World War II, long before I was here in that, roll call.
Okay.
With my dad.
All right. So tell us about him. Tell us about your father, your family upbringing. That all plays into this. So tell us about him.
I had really wonderful parents. I was... Our family's Greek, and my mother was born in Greece on the island of Lesbos. My mother grew up in New York, as did my father, and they met doing a Greek play where they played brother and sister, and they fell madly in love, and the rest was history. And they were married till my poor dad passed away of a massive heart attack when he was 60 at a party in my arms when I was 18. So that was like a massive family tragedy.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a tough one to survive. And, but our family was very close. Everybody loved, it was like a classic Greek family in the sense that everybody was pretty much always singing and dancing, or in the case of my father, reading Greek philosophy in ancient Greek. And, it was lots of great food and lots of hugs, to the point where you're just like, no more hugs, no more kisses. But it was a lovely, lovely family.
So then it was their decision to get you into show business, because as we established,
it was my mother, to be precise.
It was all your mother.
Okay. Decision.
All right.
And because that was not something my dad had really. I mean, he enjoyed all of the performing stuff, but not really. It was my mother, because my mother had a beautiful singing voice and actually sang at Carnegie Hall. And I think, back in that era, and actually as I told you, my brother and sister were much older, 15 and 16 years older. A lot of women didn't choose their own career paths. They became mothers and homemakers. Yeah. And I think my mom really would have liked to have performed. So she had very gifted children. My brother and sister were amazing. And then she got to finish it off with me and, enjoy all of that. So.
Wow. Well, then, so she got you into show business. How many, we didn't talk about this in the other episodes we shot with you about the Von Trapps. How many movies have you been in?
Well, I've been in 4 movies.
Okay.
And then multiple TV shows.
Oh,
because
yes.
After Sound of Music, I did every TV show from, I don't know, My Three Sons and Lassie to Brady Bunch.
Oh, I remember the Brady Bunch, the Waltons. I remember you in all of those years. I think you were even, weren't you in a soap? Weren't you in All My Children?
That was much later.
Later, yes.
So
oh, yes.
At about 13, 14, by then I was in a really wonderful girls' school called Marlborough, which was, had very high standards for academics and everything, and was very serious about their girls actually being present and studying and et cetera. And also, simultaneously, I kind of matured appropriately, but like a lot. So at 13, 14, it was what I refer to as the Lolita years.
Oh.
And unfortunately, it attracted all the Lolita clientele.
Okay.
For lack of a better word. And my parents got scared, and I'm glad they did. And they said, okay, no more of this, because On the bad side of our business here, there are a lot of people who are kind of horrible.
Yeah.
So that was very scary time for all of us. And so my parents said, just let's concentrate on Marlboro school. That's it. Yeah. And so I did that, and I loved school anyway. It was my happy, safe place, and easy for me to do well. And so I didn't go back to the business until after I graduated from university.
So then you went to University of Southern California?
I did. I went to USC.
Okay. And what did you study there?
My major was humanities and religion.
Oh, wow.
And interesting enough, I certainly didn't go there expecting to end up with a double major or any major in religion. But my dad had died while I was in my sophomore year. And I ended up taking a lot of classes in they had a very good department there. And then afterwards, I got back into the business and I did a TV movie with Carol O'Connor. Anyway, I did a couple of different TV shows at that point, but it was the heyday at that point of dumb blonde TNA kind of thing. And I hated it. Mm-mm. Plus, it was massive casting couch. I got very sad. And in the end, I did what any 23-year-old would do, which is say, I speak French. I'm going to go to France. I'm going to go live in Paris. And I'll act there. I'll get an agent there, and that's what I'll do.
Wow.
So that's what I did.
Well,
for a little while.
That's pretty amazing. I want to kind of jump back in there after the break. But one more thing that we have in common. I, too, was a religion minor in college. So I just keep unpacking things and finding out ways. You and I are like sisters from another mister or something. I don't know what it is.
Seriously.
Okay, everybody, don't go anywhere, because right after the break, we will be right back. Stay close.
Neuromatics Oil is a family of therapeutic-grade patented oil blends created by nutritionist and author Laura Harris Smith. Invented for her own lifelong journey for neurological health, Quiet Brain now helps those worldwide who suffer from insomnia, migraines, anxiety, seizures, tremors, and more. Quiet Brain contains oils like frankincense, myrrh, lavender, sandalwood, and others. Next, Happy Brain is a bright mood-lifting citrus blend and contains oils like lemon, lime, clementine, spearmint, and more. Users say it combats depression and even aids in weight loss. Next is Sharp Brain, Laura's Focus Blend, also used to improve cognitive memory issues with oils like coffee, cinnamon, vanilla, clove, and others. Each $69.95 bottle is a 10-week supply if used daily, or about $1 a day. And right now, buy 2 bottles and get the third one free, and get a free eye mask using the promo code on your screen at neuromaticsoil.com or at 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. I'm Laura. You're watching The3, and we're here today with Kym Karath. No, Karath. Come on. Which one is it? Come on.
Karath.
I have now said it 3 different ways, and the next time we talk, if I have the Greek pronunciation, you're really going to be impressed. But no, we were talking before the break about how you, as a 23-year-old, you leave college and you decide to go to France. You made some comment like every 23-year-old who speaks French. I don't know how common that is, but explain to us how you got there.
Well, as I was saying, I was, after university, I went back into the business and was so very tired of what we didn't call it what it was at the time, which was sexual harassment. Mm-hmm. And that was before Me Too and all the rest. We knew it, but we didn't name it.
Yeah.
That's why naming stuff is actually kind of important.
No, it is very important.
It is. And so I got very depressed and decided that, my comment was sort of a silly comment, but it didn't make any sense to do what I did.
Okay.
But because I, again, spoke really good French and was so in love with Paris and loved French films and was able to find an agent in Paris.
Okay.
I thought, well, that seemed like a reasonable thing to do, which it was completely unreasonable to do, because I did need, a work permit and all kinds of things like that. But honestly, I was so much in love with Paris. And I needed to stabilize myself, I think, emotionally a lot. When I was still really reeling from losing my father so traumatically. And I needed that time.
Goodness.
And of course, I left. I went to Paris in April, and I was madly in love by May, I think, with a young, handsome Frenchman that I ended up marrying, who is the father of my son, Eric.
All right.
And so we lived in Paris, then we lived in London, and then we ended up in New York for his work. He was a banker. And also, I thought New York was a reasonable place for me to also get back to acting. And I worked on all my children. And then it was a temporary role, it was a short role. And then we'd wanted to start a family, and we did. And then I had my wonderful son, Eric, and everything was perfect until he was 3 weeks old.
Okay, yes. So walk us through that.
3 weeks old, he got a major temperature, and we got really sick, took him to the doctor. It turns out that there was a viral meningitis epidemic in New York City at the time, and he'd contracted viral meningitis. And so we're in the hospital with him, and a couple of days into it, he started having massive seizures. And if I had not been there with him, the nurses had tried to persuade us to go home because we'd been there nonstop. And my now ex-husband, Philippe, went home and tried to persuade me to go. I'm like, no, I'm staying right here. And no one was really watching Eric at the time. And if I had gone, he would have been dead.
Yes.
He seized massive grand mal seizures. And by the time Philippe came back, they had, given him phenobarbital and gone through all of that stuff. And even though he recovered, I knew what I had seen. And I knew I had seen something so horrific that it had done damage.
You knew.
And even though everybody used to say I was in denial those first 5 years. She's in denial. He went to every therapy that existed because he didn't start to speak. He was physically incredible, agile and coordinated and amazingly beautiful. But there were certain things that weren't okay. And so I did all the therapy. I just didn't want to admit until I could that there was something wrong. And people would say he's autistic, she's in denial, he's deaf, it's like endless amounts of things. But
it's the mother's job to have hope.
Well, it is. And you know what? He did really well. He didn't start to speak. He was doing well. But, ultimately, I couldn't keep fighting the entire world. And when, he was 6, by then my husband and I had split up. And I had started dating someone. And he, as I was crying for about the millionth time one day, he said, what is it that you need to do or to get done, to get things, to not be in this state all the time and to basically make the world a better place? And I said, I need to get an MRI, but I'm not sure that I'll be able to live with what I know I'm going to see. And he said, I'll go with you. We'll do it together, et cetera, et cetera. And so I did. And the neurologist had actually been reluctant. He said, he looks so great. You're not going to see children with brain damage, don't look like this. Your son looks like the picture of health, et cetera, et cetera. And 2 days later, he called me and he said, are you sitting down? And, there was a lot of damage. And he said, whatever you're doing, keep doing because he doesn't look like the MRI.
Wow.
And so I, at that point, it was a good thing to have that because then I could basically tell people to shut up and stop criticizing me and hammering me.
Again, you're giving something a name and then you're able to move forward from that spot. Yes.
But I think to some extent, I probably wouldn't have, had I not known who Eric could be, that might have been so horrifying to me that I'm not sure I could have. But I already knew him, and I was already madly in love with my adorable, wonderful, tenacious, fun-loving child. So it's not like it became easier after that. I still had to fight. And let me give a piece of advice to anybody who's listening. If the school district is not supportive, you can fight them, and you should fight them, but don't kill yourself fighting them. Choose your battles. You're going to be doing this for a long time. I ended up in a very bad school district, which was in Greenwich, Connecticut. And you would have thought that in an affluent, educated community, special education would have been a priority, or at least, and it wasn't. And we were almost destroyed.
Wow.
But again, so that's my piece of advice. If there is a problem in your school district, if you can possibly move or change or whatever, save yourself and your child, because you'll be doing this for a long time.
You're going, pace yourself.
And ultimately, I did. And we left and we came back to California, where I'm from. And by then I had friends in the special needs community, and they told me, when they knew I was looking for school, they said, go look in Malibu, because there's a teacher named Lisa Zalagi who is the closest thing to an angel you'll ever find. And I walked into her classroom and I said, oh my God, we are home. And to this day, I've told Lisa, I have a long history now with Lisa. That was 16 years ago. I said, she saved our lives, and both of them, and both Eric's and I.
Well, I tell you what, when we come back from the break, I want to talk about that. First of all, the story just, it brings me to tears, because I have had my share of grand mal seizures, over 80 of them, had my fair share of phenobarbital and every other kind of anti-epileptic drug you can imagine. It was the impetus behind why I invented my patented neurological oil, Quiet Brain. But what you are describing set the stage for the rest of your life. Things now that with this foundation that you started, you have been able to give back and help others. So when we come back from the break, I really want to talk about that. And again, to you listeners, if you are watching now, phone somebody, get them watching with you, and make sure that you take good notes, because this lady has a track record. She knows what she's talking about. And, mothers, it is our job to have hope. And so that's what we're doing today. We're giving people hope. Be right back after the break.
Neuromedics Oil is a family of therapeutic-grade patented oil blends created by nutritionist and author Laura Harris Smith. Invented for her own lifelong journey for neurological health, Quiet Brain now helps those worldwide who suffer from insomnia, migraines, anxiety, seizures, tremors, and more. Quiet Brain contains oils like frankincense, myrrh, lavender, sandalwood, and others. Next, Happy Brain is a bright mood-lifting citrus blend and contains oils like lemon, lime, clementine, spearmint, and more. Users say it combats depression and even aids in weight loss. Next is Sharp Brain, Laura's Focus Blend, also used to improve cognitive memory issues with oils like coffee, cinnamon, vanilla, clove, and others. Each $69.95 bottle is a 10-week supply if used daily, or about $1 a day. And right now, buy 2 bottles and get the third one free, and get a free eye mask using the promo code on your screen at neuromedicsoil.com or at 1-855-784-3827. That's 1-855-QUIET-BRAIN.
I'm naturopathic Dr. Laura Harris Smith, and if you'll give me 10 days, Give It to God and Go to Bed can help you stress less, sleep better, and dream more. There are even links inside to my free 10 Days to Deeper Sleep and Dreams program and 10 Goodnight videos. Can you close your eyes and just still listen to me? The whole book takes place in your bedroom, and with chapter titles like The Junk Under Your Bed, The Treasures in Your Bedroom, and The Monsters in Your Closet. Give It to God and Go to Bed helps you learn to rest and hear God speak in dreams. Take back your sleep and dreams, my friend, with Give It to God and Go to Bed. Welcome back from the break, everybody. I'm Laura Harris Smith. You're watching theTHREE, and we are back here with Kym Karath. And we have a amazing story that we've been telling you. Well, she was with us for several episodes as we discussed her role in The Sound of Music as Gretel, little Gretel. And we talked about the Von Trapp family and the Von Trapp Lodge. But this episode we have dedicated to Kym, to her amazing son, Eric, and to the foundation that was birthed, really, Kym, out of heartache and trauma and every other thing you can imagine. That is really where good things are born. And I hear your story, and what I hear you saying is that your son was born, he was totally normal, and then at 3 weeks old developed, a high fever, and as unfortunately happens often, that leads to febrile convulsions. And then from there, his brain had irreparable damage. So I want you to just, before we jump right back into me asking you some questions about what formed the foundation, I want to know, how is Eric today? What is his, a day in the life of Eric? And how old is he? Just tell us about Eric. He's so beautiful. I see his pictures on Facebook. He's so beautiful.
Eric is supremely gorgeous. I must say, he's a real matinee idol.
Yes,
and he always was. Listen, it was a big struggle. He had a lot to overcome. It was critical to get him in the right environment, and that's what I had been fighting so hard for within the school system that let us down so badly. It wasn't until I got to Malibu and Lisa's class that there was this perfect environment. And the most critical thing, I think, is obviously, first of all, the home environment has got to be as perfect as it can be made, number one. But then school and the community need to be correct. The school environment needs to be correct. And whatever level of community, whether it's church or whether it's family, extended family or whatever, it has to be done right. It's not up to our children who are disabled to adapt to the harshness of the outside world. It's up to us, I think, as caring human beings, to adapt that world to them as much as possible.
As much as possible, that's right. The story that you just heard is one of great struggle, but I do not see evidence of them that their lives are defined by it. Eric is happy and healthy, and they have a wonderful mother-son relationship. She's happily married. They have a phenomenal family. And on top of that, they are trying to bridge that gap, make a way for other families with special needs children to prosper. Come back next week for part 2. Tell everyone you know who needs to see these episodes, and let's really make a statement. I'm actually going to ask you to give to their foundation. You can see the address on your screen right now. All right, fantastic. Everybody, it's always a joy to come into your home, into your phone, however it is that you watch The3, and I sincerely hope that you will take some time today. Pray for The3. Donate if you'd like to. We always say that we can't do what we do without you. All right, everybody, I'm Laura Harris Smith. Until next time, bye-bye for now.